with my say 7 divisions or something at each of these provinces. Then I reinforced them as needed, and the AI simply attacked me like crazy over rivers into mountains, stacked just like in U4 some 40 stacks or something, suffering 40 to 50% attrition, losing a shit ton of equipment and manpower. When the time was right, I had the right number, enough number of divisions, because the result outcome of this was never in question that I would win. Of course, I had to micromanage this like probably never before to avoid collapsing, to prevent these lines from collapsing. When everything was ready, I launched, I para-dropped, I did another para-drop over here, took this from the Italians, if I recall correctly. I did another para-drop from one of these air bases to here, and then para-dropped, I think it was Genoa or La Spezia, one of them. So I transferred some 60 to 70 divisions, while the rest of my army was holding these. No reserves whatsoever. Maybe just a couple of them, not more than that. I was sure I could hold. So I launched an amphibious invasion. I para-dropped these, then para-dropped one of these ports. Quickly, very quickly, grab these defensive lines in the mountains and this defensive line over here. So what I did, I trapped the Italians out of Italy, trapped the Italians outside of Italy with those, I don't know, 70 divisions or something. I held this line, and with whatever I had left, I cleaned up Italy. So after this was done, and after, say, 10 months of suicidal attacks against mountains, and in some places across the river into mountains like these, and the gigantic need of micro on my part, the Germans were starting to show weakness spots. So I started to encircle and destroy massive amounts of divisions. Started over here, destroyed like some 50 or 60. Then connected these areas where I could destroy some 100 divisions, give or take. So I came from here. I was expecting much more problems from the west, so I entrenched my divisions over here, protected by this river. Cut them off from support, from supply over here. Proceeded this way. Destroyed some 100 divisions. And I kept doing it. The next one, across this line. Massive encirclement. All the time. And to the point that I'm now unstoppable. Okay. That was it in a nutshell. If my original plan was to take over France, pretty much the entirety of France, with exception of this area here, give or take. I wouldn't need these because I would have more factories, so I could actually compete with the Germans in the number of divisions and then do other encirclements. Since I failed, I had no other choice but to take advantage of these. Okay, thank you, DDR for the compliment. Coming from you, it means a lot. I have to see what you did with Button. I didn't have the time. I'm streaming all the time, and whenever I'm not streaming, I'm trying to find a job or doing freelance stuff like this last weekend. Hey, that's another Ricardo Rolo as a point over there. The previous AI, the Hearts of Iron 3 AI, I know that at some point they were the same, but I can also recognize I'm not that the U4 AI has more weight on this than the other one, I think. But like Ricardo's role is saying, the AI cannot recognize an encirclement, while on the previous iteration of this game, the AI always recognize. I beg your pardon. Excuse me. The AI pretty much always recognized when we were trying to encircle it, and I've seen situations where, for example, I was trying an encirclement like this. When I was about to close, like 3 provinces away or 4 provinces away from closing it, the AI would recognize the vulnerability and start removing units from here. Of course, if I moved too fast, it was too much. They would not be able to withdraw. But they showed signs of wanting to retreat the troops from a trap. For example, I set a trap here. When I tried to hold, I didn't hold the entire line. I didn't hold it because I placed a trap for the AI to see if the AI would fall for it. I knew that the previous interaction would not fall for it, but I wanted to test if this one would. So I left an opening. I garrisoned this port very well. I garrisoned these two. My armor was here, so I had the armor advantage. So this was very strong. This one was very strong too. The goal was to, if they decided to come here, they would be killed, because I would cut them off over here and encircle and destroy everything that came over here. The AI resisted to do this, but when their numbers start dwindling, they actually did that, and this didn't happen in the previous game. What divisions do you like when you have very low resources? I like the simple the better, I think. I think I used something like this at the very beginning. So since infantry, whatever I look at it, the Marines are better than the infantry, with the exception of a little bit of defense, but they are going to be used for offensive operations, not defensive. So I'm pretty sure I used something like this. Spearheads, 1 support of artillery support, maybe another Marine here to reach. We have very near 10 combat width. After I had a little bit more of artillery, I probably did something like this. So this unit has very low width, lots of soft attack. These were my spearheads. I used like 10 of these, but I'm pretty sure I didn't add artillery for the beginning, so I'll probably add this one because it doesn't provide any terrain penalties and it's powerful enough. While the dudes holding the ground were probably just these. As my economy becomes better, I simply start adding more support to the spearheads, like, because these guys are gonna be the ones doing the most fighting. The other ones are just to hold the ground. I grab like another artillery piece, give them field hospital, save manpower, maintenance. But before everyone else grabs these, any kind of support, pretty much the spearheads will have maximum support, like something like this. Unless of course they're tanks, in which case I replace it for recon. Simply because the heavy armor is gonna add piercing 56.4. So recon, I want them to move fast. Recon it's gonna give them more defense, more breakthrough. This is just garbage for heavier divisions, but for the lightest of the divisions, It's very important because it's gonna enable them to pierce. Of course, after my production become better, I added artillery to the line divisions. I added hospital, that stuff. And of course the anti-tank was probably the first one. I hope I replied to your questions. If you, I keep it simple, and whenever I attack with massive odds. Like most battles, if you're gonna see a little bit of my Italian campaign, where I actually didn't complete, most battles started with 92%, 95% on my side, and most battles here, if I'm attempting a breakthrough, anything below 90%, below 88% or something like that, it's unacceptable. So I hit them with the strongest divisions that I have, and if at all possible, I'm gonna hit them with divisions with the armor advantage, like these ones. So this is not this is an obsolete template. I added the heavy armor. Didn't have the time to remove. Didn't have the points to remove this. So at this point, I would probably add the recon. Okay, thank you, DDR Jake. Nice to see you here. And you can be sure I'm gonna send you a list with feedback. I think you're right, Ricardo. This might be useful. Bye, Jake. See you some other time. See you soon. Okay, so what else? This is a mess now. Let's redo some of these orders. Yeah, it would be quite nice to see. This is almost over, actually. The Soviets took over most of the Balkans. Excuse me. No, I don't like to do any of that stuff on original user. I'm here for the fun, not to be the best or whatever. Of course, I always like to do my best, and if some people think that I'm great at the games, that makes me happy. But not because I'm doing it for whatever. It's just because I like to play the way that I play. So I like to improve. I like to be efficient whenever I deem that efficiency is the most important thing to let me achieve my objectives. Because when I become very powerful, I usually become more sloppy. If I have slack. If going for a record, I don't have that luxury. And Mike, you says another thing very important, which is multiplayer doesn't let me pause. Without ability to pause, I suck. Not in Hearts of Iron 3, maybe here I wouldn't suck much, but I'm pretty sure I would suck if I don't become better at doing battle plans, or the AI becomes better at handling the fronts, because I think it's action per minute. My action per minute are not great, and that's because I never needed to make them very good, very high, because I can always pause. Anyway, we are gonna attack Switzerland. We are gonna attack all these guys in over here. We are gonna punish drop Norway. Let's work on that. after this is complete. This stream is also coming to an end. It's almost midnight here where I live. So that's usually the time that I end the streams. Mike is saying gotta go for that 300 action per minute. Yeah, sure. If I was playing like Counter-Strike or something, then yeah. So this is almost cleaned up. Okay, let's create a front here. Should we? I don't think so. Yeah, he's gonna strategically deploy units around. We still have time. The next, my next opponent are gonna be the Soviets. I think I still need nukes for that. To be on the safe side, we don't have much manpower. Suffering a shit ton of attrition, not really. Okay, Hungary just capitulated. Okay, wonderful, this is over. Okay, guys, like I said, I'm gonna take a break. It's almost midnight here where I live. As usual, I thank you for watching, and it was a pleasure for me to stream. So, I'll see you tomorrow, where we will take over Scandinavia, all the miners here, and even probably start a war against the Soviets. We'll see. Thanks for watching, guys, and see you soon. Bye bye.